All right, hello and welcome everybody to Content, the esports video podcast live show, whatever you want to call it. This is the new Sunday night stream. It's starting right now. I decided it this morning, so we're off. We're gonna watch some content, some esports content. Just briefly, wanted to talk about not doing a Sunday night video and a Thursday night stream anymore because they felt like they were serving the same purpose. So I'm going to do a Sunday night stream and then weekly content where I dive in depth in just to one piece of content rather than trying to review a bunch of pieces. Figured the live stream was better for that anyway. But anyway, let's watch some content. This will probably be a shorter stream because I streamed on Thursday. So it probably won't cover nearly as many things here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be the longest stream ever. Not that there's a lot of competition.
Whenever...
Alright. First up from the Score esports. The polite killer who became the clutch king of Counter-Strike. This is about Xyp9x, I believe. Xyp9x, yep, the Counter-Strike player. And the Score's been always putting out really good content. They're basically a content machine. It's sort of their whole... It's their whole deal. It's their whole business model. It's just churning out content, getting views. The Score is a sports news updates, scores website and app, and the Score esports is obviously just the esports arm of that. So this is Xyp9x from Counter-Strike, and I assume sort of his story as to how he became who he is now.
Whenever anyone talks about great teams in esports, they usually just want to talk about the superstars. The players who become the faces of their organizations, because time and time again, they can pull off the spectacular.
Can jump on those boxes, but instead he's going to call the first. Gets the frag, but this is so nice from Liquid. He's holding it, and all Naf has to do is check it. Oh! Not again, Simple! That's simply not allowed!
But as often as these gods might bask in the warmth of the spotlight, sometimes they're known to burst into flames when they're forced under it.
Vitality are relying on their superstar Cyber to carry them through this round. We'll see if it can be done. It's got to challenge C-Spawn. He's got to go for it, and Stewie will take him down. That's huge.
But for Andreas Xyp9x Hojleth, things are a little different.
So, I love all the stuff that they do in these videos. All this like animation stuff, the background movement, not the cutout and everything. It's all really good. He does this in like all the videos, at least that Dimitri does. And I think it's just something that they do from this show. I don't know what this series is called. Doesn't say, but the offbeat series does. I think these look really good. And I like this setup. I wish there was something before the bumper that sort of grabbed you, but the bumper's not very long, so we kind of get into it pretty quick, which is good.
On the surface, Astralis' soft-spoken, unassuming support player might appear to be a background figure in the team's incredible success, but he might actually be one of their most influential members. You see, over the years, Xyp9x has quietly built up a reputation for himself. Not for being an outrageous personality, but for being one of the most consistent, calculated, and cold-blooded killers Counter-Strike has ever seen. For being the clutch minister.
Only Xyp9x, it'll be back-to-back rounds for G2. Unless he can clutch it, he's known for.
Alright, so we're quickly laying the groundwork for what this video is. It's clearly going to be, as based from the title also, Xyp9x and his ability to clutch in his career doing so. Basically building a career from being such a clutch master.
He's got the first shot and he got the second as well. Xyp9x on Inferno never ceases to amaze.
That's so sick. What was that shot?
So why exactly is Xyp9x so effective in these high-stakes situations where he's completely outnumbered? And is there a method?
His music's a little weird. It's like, it's maybe like too over-the-top circusy.
To his madness, or is he just the luckiest player in CSGO?
As Xyp9x tries to work back inside of the lobby, 25 HP only to work with. As the bomb will reach its logical conclusion. Is he going to go for this? Are they still down there? Oh my
Not like
god.
this, boys,
Oh
no.
my god.
No.
Oh my Zipix! Clutch Minister's got a new sermon! Unbelievable! Unbelievable from Zipix! He is the Clutch Master!
Okay, so aside from being a 4-time
Okay, so the whole thing is the intro, and then we have offbeat bumper, and now we get a lower third, introducing Dimitri, the office's Clutch ambassador. Okay, that's kind of funny. I like this stuff. All the branding that they do around offbeat, I think, is really cool. A good mix of like 3D and 2D stuff. I think it actually works pretty well.
major winner, a Grand Slam recipient, and a core member of Counter-Strike's greatest dynasty. Who is Zipix? Well, when he's not terrorizing opponents on the server, this digital serial killer is actually about as laid back and humble as can be. He's a regular guy who enjoys family time.
This music still feels weird to me. It's again like kind of like comedic circusy music when it feels like it's not needed. Also, I probably won't talk really about how good the shots are or anything because the score pulls everything from other sources. So they're not the ones out shooting or anything.
Ice cream, and the occasional good cry. On top of having a caster's nightmare for a username, Zipix flexes some of the most relatable facial expressions esports has to offer, and he's probably the most polite fragger you'll ever encounter on the server.
Hey, he's got that.
No, dude! Bro!
He did a jump.
However, when it comes to serious competition, this nice, easygoing guy has made his name as one of CSGO's most intimidating players. But how? Well, after kickstarting his pro career with Fnatic and the Copenhagen Wolves in 2013, Zipix joined Dignitas, which then became TSM, forming the future core of Astralis with Dupree and Device. And it was during these years that the Quiet Dane began to establish himself as a kind of specialist. Not because he was an incredible opper, had supernatural aim, or outstanding biceps. No, Zipix became known for somehow...
Something else that they do well in these videos is there's such a good mix of comedy mixed into the story. Right when you're sort of zoning out, they pull you back in with the funny moments.
always being the last man alive during losing rounds. And oddly, he had an unmatched talent for routinely turning these desperate situations into winnable ones.
But this is still an unwinnable situation now for Zipix to find himself in a 1v3, and he's going to get backstabbed as well. As soon as that smoke clears in upper tunnels, comes down to when Dennis decides to push. Well, that was definitely kind of, you know, the Hail Mary play.
I wouldn't even give it that much credit, to be honest, but...
Well, okay then, Zip. Spots the man, and he gets the headshot! 55 seconds, and somehow Zipnix has once again turned it into a 1v1. Thinking back to Overpass when he pulled off the 1v3 earlier. He could do it again. I mean, Dennis is right outside. But Zipnix has no way of knowing that. He's looking towards the doors. Does he check the window? Yes, he does! And he gets it! Zipnix with the clutch 1v3 play!
We sometimes call him the robot because he seems to sort of come up with solutions that shouldn't really be possible. You know, when there's a lot of pressure on, very few seconds left, you have a lot of decisions to make.
And crack it. And it seems like the answer may be A. And both of FaZe are still down at B site. They're going to stick together. It is an opener for Mass to try and get rid. And they're still looking at B. They seem to have thought they were still B site for some reason. Now they're going to move in, but it's going to be a stalled attempt, and Zipex is going to pounce on this. Exist is going to slowly come up as well, and Zipex pulls it off.
Over the last few years, with Astralis racking up countless trophies and basically redefining how Counter-Strike was being played, people began to take more notice of the individual talents making up the team. And it wasn't long before Zipix's penchant for playing the hero when all of his teammates were dead began to inspire a series of memes, eventually leading fans to dub him the Clutch Minister.
One man, the man behind a lot of the magic of Astralis, especially in clutch circumstances, but this one,
Surely too tall of an order. Need to get someone on that bomb.
They got the player about the kid defusing it?
No.
Oh, okay. It was
Dropping and changing. He has a perfect lineup. He caught the first. Running out of time, running out of chances. Now they've run out of smoke. Tags Kenny. Still defusing. He gets Kenny S. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how it ends. 1 versus 3. It's Zipex every day of the week. Left to clutch.
Now, unlike most monikers in esports, this one is not the product of exaggeration. Unlike
This 3. It's Zipex every day of the week. Left to clutch.
Now, unlike most
The audio cuts out. Not cuts out, but it dips out too fast there, I think. It makes that transition feel weird.
It's Zipex every day of the week. Left to clutch.
Now, unlike most monikers in esports, this one is not the
Probably fade out slower, I imagine. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason that they couldn't do that. I'm not sure.
product of exaggeration. This dude is freakishly consistent. On top of being recognized as one of the game's best players for the past 3
Those sound effects are weird. These like whooshes. There's like whooshes as the slides are coming in from the right side.
consistent. On top of being recognized as one of the game's best players for the past 3 years,
They're just not, the sound's not lining up with what's happening on screen. But to be fair, I hate every whoosh sound effect. I pretty much hate every whoosh.
Zipex has statistically secured more clutches than anyone at big events. That's right, he isn't just pulling off unbelievable turnarounds online or at some lesser LAN, he's regularly defying the odds on CSGO's biggest stages.
He knows that there's a player on B side and he has to fight his way out of it, and it's not going to work. It's on Zipnix now. Oh, Kennedy's gonna catch the bomb. This is unreal! The timing!
That is big. 1 on 3 for Sip, but he's got the bomb in 40 seconds here. Bialy's already tagged up Sip there and ready waiting for him right in front. Can they get the timing down? Pasha's moving up on the other side of him, and Sipnik's going to be turning his back and down to 1 health. Bialy with the patience play coming out. Flashbang is in there now. 25 seconds. Headshot coming in from Sipnix. What could Bialy do? He has to find the bomb and make his way onto a site, and look at the angle here. This is not easy. Bialy way out in the open. He gets shot down. Sipnix with the 1 on 3 clutch. Oh my god. 1 health left.
The amount of examples they have of him clutching out is actually insane. He actually clutches so often, it's nuts. Which, I guess if he didn't, you couldn't make a whole video around it, but, you know.
What a god.
I mean, what more can you ask of a guy? I mean, he does everything to support the team, and then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, then he can win you crazy 1v2 or 1v3 or even 1v4 situations, right? It's insane. The guy's got ice water for blood, right? So his value is unparalleled, and he really is a complete player. He's maybe not, you know, coming up with like the insane.
This is another thing I see them do on this show, is having somebody additional that can give more insight. If they feel like they're missing maybe an angle or something. So having similar, in this case, call in. I've seen like them use like Tafo in the past to give more insight and sort of fill out that information is a really good idea.
You know, simple Nico, cold device kind of plays, but he's an asset to any team, and he is certainly an asset to Astralis.
So what exactly is Zipex's secret? Well, for starters, luck has very little to do with it. You see, Zipex is essentially the Counter-Strike purist's wet dream. He executes the basics with an almost machine-like discipline, and his ability to read situations and masterfully adapt to them makes him a total nightmare for opposition.
I think he's one of the smartest players in the world, and he has
Another person giving additional insight. I think this is good. Really adds another layer of story.
I think,
or really strengthens the story rather.
People start to overthink the situation against Zipnix because he's just smarter than everyone else. So I think it's easier for him today to do some clutches because people is overthinking the situation, and I think he loves this mind games between all the players, and he loves to be in the one-on-ones and one-on-twos and stuff like that. So overthinking and mind games is the key to win in clutches, in my opinion.
Sip in a 1 versus 4. Astralis, they get what they want, but they just can't complete the rounds.
Yeah, they got what they wanted. They just didn't like what came afterwards. Santa's Law just waiting. And Zipnix has picked up the bomb, but he's got nowhere to go. There's no escape route to that upper bomb site. try and work his way around 37 seconds. Good win for Zipnix. 3 kills. The Clutch Minister would have to get an ace clutch to get Astralis their second, and Breeze is going to oblige him. He just walks out to the open. They're gifting him these, and Zipnix might just do it again. Spots the shoulder. That's a huge win! That's what they needed, and Zipnix is the one to deliver it again and again and again.
But as impressive as Zipix's tactical intelligence may be, it's his ability to isolate himself from his own emotions in-game that makes him a truly unique terror. And to better understand how he can do this so effectively when the stakes are sky high, we reached out yet again to Madison Klarkowski, our gamer brain studying expert at the University of Saskatchewan.
Zipix, when he's in these 1vx situations.
So another example of bringing in another person to give additional insight and really round out our understanding of the story. This is pretty cool. There's so much footage. It's insane.
Or these clutch situations where he doesn't need to worry about his teammates, needs to worry about himself. There's less demands on his working memory and his attention can narrow. And it could be that it's in these situations of narrowed attention that's kind of like his stimuli sweet spot where he excels cognitively. So this could be true of Zipix. It could just be that in the clutches where he...
I don't think we needed to stay on that shot for so long. I think we could have been back to Zipix shots quicker.
Essentially goes into cognitive function overload and performs better than he would in other situations. And he's possibly better at that than his teammates or a lot of other pros as well.
Perhaps the most unsettling thing about Zipix, though, is the fact that, unlike the vast majority of Counter-Strike players, he genuinely enjoys being in these clutch or kick scenarios. He's become so used to actually prevailing when outnumbered that he takes it pretty badly when he doesn't.
He simply has greater positive efficacy expectation of himself in these situations. So that literally translates to belief in yourself. So belief in yourself, it's scientifically supported, it has merit. It actually does improve your performance because it makes you less prone to the drawbacks of stress.
You've got Rush planting the bomb on just as little HP. This bomb site could have been so easily cleared, but it still could be. He knows Golden's there based on the reload, and Zipex has now got himself into the bomb site, 3 kills, and a bomb to get on top of. He's going to pull the goose egg, and automatic. Automatic's not going to go for this.
Be a tap.
Of course.
A 10-second stick.
Of course Zipex pulls this out of nowhere.
Oh, automatic comes in right at the last second, but it's not enough time.
You've got to wonder if there's an element of like, guys, it's Zipex in a 1v3. Be careful.
And
Mr. Reliable for Astralis.
Now, Sid goes for the fight. Immediate shot down and falls back. He knows Rain is up there. Could the Norwegian do it again? He's waiting, but Sip, of course, with the clutch in the pistol round.
Counter-Strike is an unforgiving game where every decision you make...
I think something that they've done really well in this video, and something that I think is missing for the Astralis brand, is like really showing their players' personalities more. And you see some of it, I mean, largely just because Astralis is so good. They're at every tournament and everything, so you're naturally seeing a lot of it. But showing the person behind the player, like not just who he is when he's playing, it's also done a fairly good job of showing like their personality, his personality outside the game.
Can be the difference between winning and losing, between hoisting shoddily constructed silverware and forever wondering what it feels like to do so. And thanks to his reliable...
Okay. So at the very beginning of the video, they sort of make calls to a lot of the more well-known CS players, and this is sort of them bookending back to how they started it by comparing Zipix to the best players in the world. So we're sort of wrapping up the video the same way as we started. It's a good way to call back to the themes of the video.
Ability to navigate that treacherous path and comfortably manage his own emotions, Zipix has emerged as the ultimate big game player. You see, at the end of the day, superstars don't guarantee majors. Sometimes it's the silent assassins who forego the spotlight that shine the most when they have to step into it.
This is certainly winnable for Liquid. More so now that it's just Zipix. He'll step out, fronts Taco. Clutch Minister, they call him! He's got 3! Oh my goodness! Zipix can't quite hold it.
No, he's done
just barely. He might. You're right, he might with the time. He doesn't have a kid. I think Zipix has pulled this off. I think he has! A 1 versus 4! And it's 4-4 on the score!
That's a mess.
Again and again, he always finds
greatest dynasty. Who exactly is Zippix? Good?
I think the who picked up.
Who
It was
is-
almost
okay.
like Francis Underwood, like a why.
Wah! Double ring on the table. That's good. I like that. All right. Wah!
This is something else that Offbeat, and really just the score in general, does a lot, is these behind the scenes moments at the end when they do their end screens. And I think it's really good for building up the host and their brand, and making people fans of... People come to watch Zippix, but potentially you're making them just a little bit more fans of the people who are behind your own content. And eventually, they're coming to your content both for you and the stuff that you're talking about rather than just the subject.
Wah! Wah!
Also,
Wah! Wah!
maybe
Wah! Wah! Wah!
It's also... It seems obvious to people who make videos like this that there's a producer on the other end watching and giving feedback, but I don't think that that's something that a lot of normal people think about, people who don't work on content like this. So it also sort of gives insight for people who don't know as much about the process, which I think is very neat too. It's kind of what I'm all about here, showing the process and the people behind it. All right, so that's a pretty much a banger. Pretty much everything from Offbeat from the score is really good. All right, what else we got? What do we need to watch here? Patch breakdown. That sounds horribly uninteresting. This looks like gameplay. Live hour 50. Yeah, it's a live stream. Optic recap. 13 minutes. All right, let's watch some. This is going to be the Chino effect. I'm not sure who Chino is. I follow Call of Duty a little bit. I watch a little bit of Call of Duty League, but not a ton. I don't know all the people who aren't like the big names. But this is from Optic Gaming, who is owned by the Immortals, who also owns MIBR, LA Valiant, and now the Optic brand, which used to be run by Hex now with NRG, and running the Huntsman. So, let's watch some Optic content.
That is
Seems loud.
sensational from Optic. Through the front line,
It's not that loud. Weird. This part's loud.
We have a treat, Joe. This is a match that we've really been looking forward to, and mostly because of a big change to this
That is sensational from Optic. Through the front line,
we have a treat, Joe. This is a match that we've really been looking forward to, and mostly because of
the background music that comes in during the beginning of this clip with Maven and Merc talking. It transitions really odd. I'm not sure what you would do about that, but it feels pretty weird. Without knowing what's going on in each of these clips, it's hard to tell what the answer is, but that transition feels really odd.
big change to this Optic Gaming roster.
Yeah, JCap is out, right? We sort of figured he was going to be the one. I mean, listen, overall, the entire team has been underperforming, but they're going to bring in a substitute. They're going to bring in...
Okay, we're immediately setting up the premise. JCap on the bench, Chino coming in. We're going to see what happens because of that change.
Chino.
Going into it, I was pretty confident in the squad and knowing like what we were capable of. But I would probably say I was a little nervous for myself just because like I don't feel like I'm 100% there yet and like where I want to be as a player.
This music feels like a weird choice. It feels very action oriented and driving, but we're kind of just hanging out and talking. Maybe we're going to get into something soon that it's setting up for.
But I mean, I knew if I just played the way I usually play and, you know, just try to help my teammates and have good comms and everything, that we'd be fine.
Oh, map 1 is underway, and here we go. Optic versus the London Royal Ravens, and I'm not sure. Oh,
I don't love this graphic. Feels like there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot that's additive. It just feels really cluttered, and I'm not really sure what's happening other than this is clearly match 1 against the London Ravens. But it feels very cluttered and busy. I feel like maybe stripping away some of the elements would be better. Also, this black logo on this dark gray background feels like it takes too long for me to process what I'm seeing.
Versus the London Royal Ravens, and I'm not sure what I'm seeing, Joe.
Again, I think for Chino coming into this map number 1, like, it's tough, right, to just get right thrown into a match. Maybe expect this from him, but for Kenny to be 18 and 35 double negative on the dot, it just can't happen. Now starting the plant. Slasher's gonna take one down.
So there was like we brought the audio in from the next scene before we cut video, but it felt abrupt when we cut to the video. I think maybe a little bit of a timing change there of when we take the next video maybe helps that.
Double negative on the dot. It just can't happen. Now starting the plant.
Also maybe it's the amount of space that happens. The first audio ends, the second audio comes in. There's like a second or two there where there's just no audio, but the music doesn't come up at all. So you're just sort of left with a feeling and drop of volume for that second or two.
Slasher's gonna take one down. Has to get the bomb planted. They know it. Oh, he's able to find another one.
Oh
On the Shawnee. Can he do it again?
Oh my God.
Can he do it again?
You better hit the shot. He hit the shot. Slasher.
Oh my gosh.
Already with a 1v2.
He's got
Might
Teddy.
get the
He's got
1v3 here as well, and he does it. Slasher, though, with another first blood within this game, they can win this offense to get them to the all-important round 11. Top window will be Jerd.
So, bomb does finally go down. Now it's a 2 versus 1. All up to Shawnee. They know his position. They're going to reposition. Can he get the defuse off? Can he just going to peek?
Oh, he gets smoked! He gets smoked!
He wins it!
Honestly, I think it just kind of hurt us all that like we just like obviously didn't like come out on the win.
Oh.
Us all that like we just like obviously didn't like come out on the win when we thought like we could have won it like multiple. Honestly, I think it just kind of hurt us all that like we just like obviously didn't like come out on the win when we thought like we could have.
I guess there should be music behind this or something. There's just not. That feels really weird where the audio drops out there. Is the other team highlighted in the match or just the highlights? Is the other team highlighted in the match or just the highlights? I don't think I understand the question. I don't know if that was a meme question. Let's go back here. I feel like I need context.
Fuse off. Kenny's just going to peek.
Oh, he gets smoked! He gets smoked!
He wins it!
Honestly, I think it just kind of hurt us all that like we just like obviously didn't like come out on the win when we thought like we could have won it like multiple times.
I also made a really bad play in S&D last map, so I was kind of tilted. Composure really was.
I will say I like the idea of having multiple people in something like this. If you're gonna do like a match recap or something where the players talk about it, having multiple players there is good. Allows a little bit of that rat-tat-tat, that back and forth. Whereas if you just have one player staring at a camera explaining what their thought process was, it tends to be very dry. So this at least helps a little bit.
Wasn't there, but I mean, I just kind of forgot about it as the day went on and just kind of chilled out.
I think what we did was honestly the best thing to do. We all kind of just took a break. We all like just took the rest of the night off.
Part of the problem is that really low quality audio from his mic, which is an unavoidable problem. Not much you can do about that once you're in post-production.
Just calm down and make sure everything was good with us. And then the next day we got on and we were just...
Maybe some music under it or something just to The fact that there's nothing else going on just makes it so glaringly obvious that the audio for this is... The audio from his mic is rough.
Acting like it never happened and went into our games just knowing we just had to win.
Well, did you appreciate your insight?
Thank you, guys. Go crush this one. Go on.
Well, game number 1 about to get underway. As we said, Paris Legion versus Uptick Gaming LA. Because unfortunately, you don't really have time to let your health regen as Quavo peaks. No defuse for Luca. Quavo with 2. Uptick seal the deal in a round 11. They now go 2-0 up in the series.
They can't even stabilize over the A flag because Optic just has the full map spread.
So I think my problem so far, and I guess we're not that far into it. Maybe this video's felt like it's drug on a little bit. I thought we were further into this video. I don't know if COD teams have access to comms. Maybe if there was like some comms that helped drive this story a little more, it would make more sense. But I don't know if they have access to that.
They are running the gauntlet on Paris right now.
Meanwhile, Dashi still popping off over towards A, still being a nuisance. Meanwhile,
you hear the casters inhale before it cuts, and that's why that transition feels uncomfortable, is because you hear the caster go and then it cuts to the next clip, and the fact that we don't hear what the caster says next makes it feel very abrupt.
Optic just has the full map spread. They are running the gauntlet on Paris right now.
Meanwhile, Dashi still popping off over towards A, still being a nuisance. Credit to him, going on a massive spree towards the end of this game. The assistance of Cheeto is massive. Cheeto gets himself 2. Paris Legion, how's the spawn trap feeling? It's not great. Uptick Gaming have steamrolled through the final few minutes of this game.
I think mainly, it's Cheen's vibes, to be honest. That's what it is. Like, even after the loss, Cheen gets on with the great vibes, so he kind of brings the team morale up, and it kind of gets them in a good mood. And then that day, we just kind of had a good day of COD.
Yeah, I'd agree. It was all me.
See, like, you don't get a moment like that if these dudes are each talking individually. I love it. I love the personality showing. Love it.
Right into it we go. Optic, Ravens, rematch.
Is that really what the Optics Ravens logo looks like? It's like feathered on this side, but not on this side. It's just straight. Maybe.
We're going to kick it off on Azir Cave.
I would just say that going into our game against them again, we knew some of the maps that we wanted to play more. Like, we knew that we didn't want to play them Hackney again. And we knew that we could probably switch up the search and destroy pick to help us also. So I think that was definitely one thing that helped us against them. And then I would also say that like just getting a win over Paris really helped us also. Like it just gave us confidence that we could just do this, you know, we could actually win. I still think Hardpoint is probably our #1 focus because it's 2 game modes, like it's 2 games in a series. And I expect every series to be, you know, at least a 4th map.
But now you have a 4-on-4 fight. This is the big...
All right, so we're setting up his confidence. So hopefully this is a win for Optic. Or maybe it's going to be a turn. We're going to go from happy to creating... what's the word I'm looking for? Tension?
One, and look at the kill feed. It is all Ravens.
Based on the music, I'm going to assume not.
They're going for the jugular now, and they're also looking to get cave side control. The beginning of the hard point's been so good. All the pressure now on Ravens to try and battle back in. Optic Gaming lighting it up. There's Kenny going huge. What a big map 1 it was for him. And Optic Gaming take the map 1. Big Money Cheen working the clock.
Once again, just like the audio is really killing these transitions. Just cutting in the middle of sound and stuff is making these transitions really rough.
I think with that nade thrown, I think he knows he can't be on the bomb. But he should know. Yeah, he's not on it. Oh, he's there! Oh, but Cheeto wins it. Oh,
yeah, he got there just in time.
I mean, our practice was pretty poor, to be honest. And I even told my friends this. I personally thought we were going to get it last. Because our practice was so bad, and it wasn't like anything was getting any better. It was more of us like making the same plays we made even when we were.
These honest moments where somebody like Quavo talks about how poorly their practice went and he thought they were going to do really bad is really good for humanizing again and making people who just like you and turning them into fans.
We first.
Because they can relate to you better. Yeah.
Like made the team and first started practicing, and it came down to like mini map awareness, and I feel like that's like a thing that most COD players, most pro COD players have to be able to be, or to be able to compete at the highest level. For some reason, everybody just woke up with God's here. Mini map awareness.
LA, a massive moment for them. We found in their home series was a pivotal period in the team's life cycle, and now we're starting to see hard work really being put to good use. But this is going to be it, friends. We're getting straight into.
Shots going down and Dashi clutches up. Ticking. Players tagged. And Celium gets the pick! Celium! A huge clutch from him!
Still, you have to be damn near perfect to beat FaZe, and Optic obviously did not have that level of success in the domination.
A little unfortunate for them, but for Atlanta FaZe, they now go 2-1 up. Dino from mid-street has an effect into the fight, but Atlanta had broken through. They cannot win it here, but they could maybe, just maybe, put it out of reach. In very quickly, Slasher slides in. Somehow, some way, Optic still in this as they break once again. 2 points needed for Atlanta FaZe on board with Simp. You need a miracle kill feed here if you're Optic Gaming.
Number 7, number 7 killed him! Number 7 killed him at the old hill, won the one-on-one gunfight in the final moments, and with 3 seconds left on the point.
I'll tell you, nothing feels worse than having a moment like this and wanting to use that caster audio, but not being able to separate it from the music because you can only get access to stream audio. And like you want to like play some sad music here and have it be a really down moment or something maybe, but you can't because there's just music blaring on the stream audio.
Steals the game from Optic, who were thinking
and it's super triumphant music and it doesn't work at all. It feels so bad.
we gotta rotate, which is correct, but you gotta win the gunfights in the hills, so Atlanta steals it away.
I'm looking to win Seattle, to be honest.
Again, just like how suddenly the music just gets cut there. We just jump to the next shot. Another abrupt transition. Maybe for a moment like that, you could do something where you like do a high end and low end roll off on the music, so it starts to get like hollower and hollower, to sort of match the emotion you're going for.
Like I said, I felt like we can win. I had little to none faith this last weekend. Not like obviously not because of Cheen, but just because of our team in general. But after this weekend, and I kind of was on that wave that it was kind of a fluke. We just had 2 good days of COD, but it's led on into our practice lately. So we've been playing pretty well. So I'm thinking we're gonna take Seattle.
We lost that first game in a really close series, and we were all pretty upset about that. But then after that, we came in the next day, and I think winning that series 3-0 like really put us over the top, especially how we ended the Dom. So like it just gave us a lot of confidence in each other, and like I feel like we've been riding that confidence ever since. Like even though we lost, and keep learning the game every single day and trying to get better. And I can see us definitely winning one soon if we keep on the pace that we are now.
Oh, shoot. Videos like this are tough in quarantine because you can't rely on the stuff they would usually rely on for a video like this. There's not a whole bunch of extra footage. The interviews don't hit as hard because they're just in front of a webcam. And it can be hard to get players to interact the same way they would in person. But this video just never really grabbed me. Like it's very much a story of Chino and the weekend that Optic had and their successes to lose their first game and then not lose until they played FaZe again, I believe. So it was a really solid weekend for a team that's been really struggling. but I just didn't get that emotional connection that you want in a video like this. Maybe there's just not time to like fully understand who Chino is. Maybe that needs to be more the focus. Maybe this video is trying too much to be both the story of Chino but also a highlights video. And it just ends up being just kind of both, but doesn't do either one really well. Introducing new players. Washington Justice. Washington Justice is an Overwatch League team based out of Washington, D.C. who have signed new players, apparently. Minute 53.
Kills everyone! Nano comes like that. Yep. Janu though gets 2, gets 3.
What is this music? And is there multiple music sources happening at the beginning?
Janu kills everyone!
Yeah, there's the beginning has multiple music sources, and that I'm like, it can be tough to figure out music. Like right when you start a video, if there's music playing, it can be tough to find the beat sometimes, and it makes you feel uncomfortable until you figure out where the beat is. And having multiple music sources like this right off the bat makes the viewer feel really uncomfortable until they can figure out where the beat is.
Janu kills everyone! Nano comes like that. Yep. Janu though gets 2, gets 3. With a whole hog of 4K, making it near 5K for Janu 6K. Janu kills everyone. From Vancouver, locks him in the sound barrier. Sound into you. Coming from Janu. Oh my God, kill. He does it again. We saw it from him yesterday to get the victory over the chart. Now he does it to take the win on King's Row. Oh, he talked about the top. Straight EMP. Where's the follow-up? Over laser. Everybody going down.
Cousins comes in from Twilight. New York advancing though, and they've got the supercharger, but they don't have Libero. There's Johnny with the flux. Damage coming in, that's enough to take out Meko with a little bit of help, and Titans get another full hold here.
Stitch today, your player of the match.
From behind the dead
Stitch today.
I don't know why we needed to change songs, but the fade to black and then just fading the old song out and the new song in is it's a very underwhelming transition.
Today, your player of the match.
From behind the dead coming down. The pharmacy cop is right out of there, taking coma. Both say goodnight. Another shot, the headshot there onto the takes him out.
I think the mix is weird. The music is loud, which is fine, but it's covering up the game sound in the casters. I think that the mix needs to go a little more toward the caster side, without losing too much music. If you lose too much music, then you're going to lose a lot of the body. It's going to feel hollow. But right now, it's too much music compared to how much caster and game audio we have.
Can't get much from that Stitch. So much space to work with, and that should be it. The Titans.
Stitch is there. He's found 4, 2 of them with a Death Blossom. Nobody can stop him right now. Up the team. He actually pops up in between Bumper and his backline, and Stitch just wrecks him.
Music choices seemed weird, kind of like overly serious. Like I get that it's like a hype video, but I don't feel like the video is matching the energy of the music. Maybe like if you're gonna use music like this, you know, like fast cuts, something that just adds more, maybe some time manipulation, just to add more tempo in the video that matches the audio. And I'm sure this video was done super fast. I think these guys were potentially from the Vancouver Titans. So they were picked up super recently. So this video probably had a really quick turnaround. So, you know, yeah, I guess you work with what you can get there. All right. What else we got? How ults use? Let's use ults. Let's watch this. At least some of this. I don't know if we're going to watch all of this because I think it's going to be more of just like drama coverage in news and not so much a story, but we'll see. We'll see how it is.
So while North American League of Legends might be in the off-season, the drama just doesn't stop coming. What started off as outrage over a potential conflict of interest has turned into a shitstorm holy war that has TSM members dropping twitlongers left, right, and center, and Dardoch's career pretty much sideswiped. This is a total mess.
So for this Don't At Me segment, the score always does these swipe on, blue semi-opaque, and then the host does some funny thing. And I like it. It's just like an ongoing joke. It happens every episode. And you sort of start out watching and you think, I wonder what funny thing they're going to do during the bumper at the beginning.
Alright guys, this is the part of the video where I would usually tell you to subscribe to the Score Esports YouTube channel, and you should definitely still do that if you haven't already.
Oh yeah, also subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. I'm going to shout out subscribe to my channel every time somebody in a video says subscribe to their channel. That's how this is going to work.
But did you know that we are fairly regularly now streaming live on Twitch? Go to twitch.tv/thescoreesports and give us a follow. You won't regret it. Okay, so in case you've been living under a crug lately, Doublelift and TSM are currently at the center of a vortex of drama in the League of Legends world. Now, really, this whole thing actually starts at the beginning of this year and the beginning of the LCS spring split. You see, Doublelift is playing his 5th split for Team Liquid. He's won 4 LCS championships back to back. He starts spring and he just totally shits the bed.
So that's nice, but for now, don't like it.
Ooh, Doublelift getting caught out there. Flash follow from Afromoo. Oh, baby, that's the setup.
If you look at only his body of work, this split, he is probably the worst AD carry in the league right now, which is so inexcusable from a player.
Criticism for Doublelift's play comes in hot and heavy. For his part, he says he's lost motivation to continue competing at a high level. He gets sick, he gets benched, and all of a sudden...
I think something they do well at this score, and partially, well, specifically this video, but really just in general in their videos, is they pace out pretty well. They don't fool around with stuff that you don't need to know about to understand the story, and they explain it pretty concisely and quickly, and the clips that they show always add some kind of value.
Suddenly he says, oh, hold on, I've got my motivation back. Well, too little, too late. After 2.5 years, Doublelift gets booted off Team Liquid and ends up on TSM. The prodigal son returns.
Did you shower? Mm-hmm. You should change. I have something better for you.
Oh, thanks.
The problem? Well, Doublelift happens to be in a romantic relationship with TSM's president, Lina Zhu. Now, why exactly is this a problem? Well, as everyone has pointed out numerous times now, it does present the potential for a conflict of interest. Meaning, Doublelift could, in theory, get preferential treatment from the org because of his relationship with someone in power.
Ooh, we're gonna get more insight
a while about how Dardoch has evolved, reached his final form, how he's gone beyond those sort of more toxic days of years past, has been challenged by stuff like what Loco Doco said in a recent video.
Dardoch has been a troublesome part of the TSM roster.
I'll tell you, the score always does a ton of research. And it's pretty obvious that they have a whole team. I mean, it's not just obvious, I mean, it's factual, but they have a whole team of people who work on these videos. You know, it's not just a couple dudes in a basement or something. But these are always super well researched, and they always give you a ton of information in these videos. And they always pull from every source they can. Like, if you've seen a source talk about this and it's not in the score video, it either wasn't relevant. I mean, there's not another option. It just wasn't relevant because they probably already saw it.
From the start, in the first few weeks of practice, there was a big blow up from Dardoch, and talks were had.
I don't know if you need to use this same music throughout the whole thing. I want to say that these are usually a little shorter, maybe. It just seems like maybe they didn't use it throughout the middle. Not sure, but still hearing this music again is it's just a bit much.
And TSM and Dardoch both thought things would get better. But throughout the season, there has been constant problems, and the sports psych has been working directly with him, way more so than any other player, and the results have been pretty middling.
Now, could all of that be known and understood?
Any other player, and the results have been pretty middling.
It's like we missed that transition by a frame. There's like a flash frame in there.
Now, could all of that be known
Unlucky.
and understood knowledge within the LCS ownership community?
It happens.
Absolutely. But it's still damaging to Dardoch's value as a player to have it come out to the public. Now, another thing that's been brought up several times is the LCS Players Association, and the fact that Doublelift, Bjergsen, and Biofrost are all on
This music is catchy though. I do like it.
On it. And they're all on TSM. And Bjergsen is a part owner in TSM now. Now, that is indeed a little worrying. And I think we'd all like to see at least a few of them step down from those positions to make room for a more diverse group of players. But what I also want you to understand is, for all intents and purposes, the LCS Players Association isn't particularly powerful. Their own stated goal, after all, is to provide, quote, access to information, counsel, and the opportunity to voice feedback and enact change, end quote. Remember, we are talking about League of Legends here. It's an esports space where Riot, the game publisher, basically has total control over the ecosystem. There's only so much a players association is going to be able to do. It's not like a players union in the NBA or the MLB or anything like that. As for where we go from here, well, we need to see at least two things from TSM pronto. Number one, they need to make sure that Dardoch is taken care of. They owe it to him to make sure that he finds a new home that he's satisfied with after basically torpedoing his trade value. And number two, we need to see some clear, measurable, and above all, transparent changes in TSM's organizational structure. For starters, how about a set of guidelines that govern employee behavior in situations like these? One thing we don't need to do, guys, is go on a witch hunt against a president who clearly excels at her job but made a serious error in judgment in this particular case. TSM took the L here, and they absolutely deserve to get blasted for it. But what's done is done. Let's see how we can fix the problem. One of the less esoteric pieces, but something important nonetheless, which is who framed Roger Rabbit? Now, this is one of my favorite films of all time. Now, a little piece of trivia for you. Legend goes that Tim Curry was supposed to play the role of Judge Doom.
2 hours later.
Again, just like quick little more personality-based stuff at the end, making you a fan of... I don't know who this is. Hold on. I don't know who this is. Making you a fan of Colin. Even though you're here for what he's talking about, perhaps you see this, you understand him a little better. If you see it a bunch of times, eventually you're not just a fan of what they're talking about, you're a fan of him, and you're coming back more often, watching more videos.
Really kind of layers to this movie. It's deep, dude.
It's deep, dude. Oh, let's watch this video, because I actually have some things to say about this video. So this video is, and I already watched this one. It's one from 100 Thieves in their new highlights channel, which is very intriguing to me. There's been some changes to this channel that I think are interesting. Up until a few days ago, it was just highlights of their podcasts. They have two podcasts, Self-Made with the CEO Nadeshot, and I'm not sure what Jackson Dahl's title is, but Jackson Dahl is one of their high-up businessmen and one of the super early adopters, super early employees of 100 Thieves, and then the Courage and Nate Shot show, which are Courage and Nate Shot are the hosts. But 4 days ago, they posted a teaser for a video for their main channel a day before that video went out. And then this video, which involves their CSGO team playing against their staff in Valorant with some handicaps to try and even it out. So maybe this channel is becoming a like 100 Thieves hardcore fan channel. Maybe that's what they're trying to do with this. Like, if you're a 100 Thieves hardcore fan, then you're on the 100 Thieves highlights channel, because you're getting teasers early and you're seeing stuff with their staff. And again, the more that you're seeing the people behind 100 Thieves, the more you're going to understand 100 Thieves, the bigger fan of 100 Thieves you're going to be if you understand the personalities behind it. And it's not just this nameless, faceless organization. You know, knowing all these people and what their personalities are like helps you identify better and become a bigger fan quicker.
Hey boys, so 100 Thieves put together a god squad of their best 5 Valorant players. We've had to verse them with pistols only, no armor, no abilities. We'll see how we do.
Ow! Shot seems a little flat. Alright, I don't know how I feel about this intro animation. That felt weird. I don't know if it needs motion blur, maybe? This movement feels... I don't want to use too strong a language here, but it kind of feels like it was done in Windows Movie Maker or something. The right-on is good, but again, the movement's weird. And then you have this like 3D versus, which doesn't fit at all with what's happening in either of these. There's like 4 different fonts on the screen. This feels weird. A rare miss for 100 Thieves. And this like lens flare?
So guys, here's our secret. Here's our secret weapon.
All right, showing all the staff members right at the top, so you know who is playing. The people who you probably don't know about. If you're some random fan coming to this channel, these are probably the people that you don't know yet. So we're introducing them right off the bat.
Please welcome Gomez.
Oh my gosh, let's go. Oh God.
I hired a coach for him.
And we're giving important information. Gomez is the CSGO coach for 100 Thieves, so they're going to be communicating with him throughout the video. So we're setting up who's in the video, at least on this side, right at the start.
Press.
Oh, he's coaching. Okay. I thought he was playing.
So we don't have to figure it out along the way.
And I was like, oh, we're going to frag.
Alright, so the idea is you just got to stick together. They only have 30 bullets and a gun. In this case, they got pistols, so 8. So they can't kill you all in one clip.
JKS only needed 5 bullets, though.
And he's in the 100 Thieves compound, and they're playing from the 100 Thieves compound.
Oh my God.
Oh no! God! 5-0!
That was JKS too.
JKS literally 5-0'd us in 5 rounds.
That only give them 4.
So setting up your expectations and showing that the CS team obviously is considerably better than the 100 Thieves staff at Valorant.
4 rounds, but the rest, you know, if they stick together, there's no way they can kill you all in one clip.
Something the 100 Thieves does really well is they always mix like the right amount of memes and comedy into the videos where it doesn't feel overdone. It's not like bashing you over the head with memes, but you know, good use of comedic memes.
Just stick together and mob around. Think of it like an angry mob.
We're stronger together.
Wait, this is so. We're not playing 1v5 anymore.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, go.
That's it. We won.
There's 4 more. No.
Wait, no, there's 5.
Oh sh.
One sight.
I'm scared.
I love this music choice. It's like super, super over the top, but in a self-aware way. It's great.
Julia!
I think 5v5 is too hard.
We're best, and we're gonna do it. I believe.
Oh gosh.
Meanwhile.
That's so. I think the volume needs to go down during those rewind, fast forward parts. Little loud, little shrieky, little harsh on the ears.
Alright, so we can't buy anything.
Also, just a little bit of info here.
Meanwhile.
This is noise, but then it's artifacting on top of the noise, and that's why you get this weird, like, you see the white noise, but then you have all these artifacts on top of it, and it makes it look really odd. And the reason for that is that YouTube compression does not handle white noise well. It just mangles it. So stuff like white noise, confetti, snow, anything where the pixels are constantly changing a lot in a very unpredictable way, YouTube compression destroys it.
I believe.
Meanwhile.
Alright, so we can't buy anything.
What the f***'s wrong with my fingers?
We can't use skills either. This is bullshit. This is a load of baloney.
Alright, so we're rewinding and we're seeing the round again from the CSGO team's perspective.
It looks like they're playing towards B. Stay A.
Also, I like all of these lower thirds that they keep in the corner pretty much all the time, I think. And if I wasn't blocking this, first to 19. Okay, so there's like a rule set sort of in the top left. It's good, especially if you're not familiar with who these people are. Nice reminder. Wait. These dudes are sneaky. They put that little line in. That line should be covered up by this thing, but they put the little line there so that it looks like this information is over top of this logo, but that's not possible. Wow, very cool. Nice little detail there. Nice little detail. Very neat.
There's just lots of hookahs, lots of hookah. It looks like they're all in hookah. Trade for John.
What's hookah? Are you drinking? I mean smoking?
He's got CT, perfect by Jay.
That guy sucks. CT's clean, mate.
Peeking, peeking.
Peek shot, peek, 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 peek!
Enemy remaining.
I'm not a fan of the Wilhelm scream. I don't like the Wilhelm being used. Not a fan. I think that's like it's like a dead meme before there was memes.
I was just baiting for you, dude.
If people don't know what the Wilhelm scream is, it's like a sound effect that originally came from an Indiana Jones movie, maybe? I don't know, but it's that like, ah! And you'll hear it in movies and stuff all the time. It's basically like an ongoing joke where you'll hear it in films and stuff. But I think in like internet videos, it's just overused. I get the joke, but it's a little overused. Maybe throwing it into a video once is fine.
Sean just running and gunning.
Wait, we need to split up then, for real though.
So to stick together and mob around.
Yeah, let's split up.
Gomez, what's our strategy here?
Calling back to the previous conversations.
Here, you gotta send us places. You gotta give us some instructions.
Is it 5 versus 5 now?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening? And you guys have got guns?
Yeah.
We have everything.
I love these
Is it 5?
these pictures that pop up of them. So I think I would have added motion blur to this because it's a real life picture. If this was just like a graphical asset, I could see not having motion blur. But I think because it's a real life picture, that's when I feel. So anytime there's a real life asset or there's things happening over real life assets are when I think motion blur is needed. Otherwise, I think it's pretty subjective. But for me, if it's a real life picture, I pretty much always use motion blur. Personal preference, subjective. Pretty much, I said that was only subjective earlier. It's all subjective, but that's my personal preference. But I love using these little pictures here for when he's talking. Just a reminder of who it is and add some more personality once again.
Is it 5 versus?
Anytime, I harp on this a lot, man. Anytime you can add personality into the videos, people are going to connect with it more. And they're going to enjoy it more.
This is 5 now?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening? And you guys have got guns?
Yeah.
We have
going with
everything, and they
Jackson.
have only pistols, no armor, no abilities.
Oh, okay. So we got guns now. So yeah, just play normal.
A little bit of an audio cutout there, but that could also be, I mean, he's talking on his phone on Discord, so that could just be happening on his end.
I guess.
What's normal though? We don't know what to do.
Hide behind corners and
Having his reactions of just pure disappointment anytime they say something to him is pretty great.
have them run by you.
No.
1 in mid.
Oh god.
Jackson, you should do the mid.
Oh, I see one here. Oh, I got one.
I'm going B.
Oh. Gee, dang it.
They're planet B.
Yeah, they're going B.
Oh
This is
my
gonna
god.
be a
This is
slaughter,
gonna be
guys.
terrible.
This is gonna
We
be
can do this, guys. Guys, trust me.
Oh my god, they both kicked me at
Jesus.
once. Yeah,
Oh, you
I've got an idea. Everyone just wait and spawn. Wait and spawn for a second, everyone, and I'll just tell you where they're going.
All right.
Why
I
would
like
they
this.
pick me?
Is my chick hot?
Yes, that's pretty hot. Love anime. I'm a big wood. We're playing A now. Perfect. Oh. Think him.
Alright, so once again going through the round again, but from the CSGO player's perspective, and we'll probably go through it at a quicker pace since we already know what happens. We just want to see what they're doing during this time.
And that guy, let's go. Oh my kill, dude. No, I headshot him. Got him. Nice.
Why am I through the hooker thing?
Taking over. Yeah, through the teleporter. One's coming hookah.
One enemy remaining.
CT last one. That's him. Kill him.
Go through it, Yod. 3, 2, 1, now. No, Yod, you sold me out.
Kill him, Yod. Kill him. Yeah, nice. Oh, let's go.
Sold. Yeah.
Man, we just won a full eco. That's crazy.
Where are we going?
I don't know. Just go for the 1v1s everywhere, dude. You stole my kill.
You, man. You stole my other kill. I'm having one you hold.
Even dead.
You hold Dink.
I think this one.
Backside.
Last player standing.
Oh, let's go!
Wait, okay, Julia, but are you able to wall this?
The like super intense music when the staff is playing versus the very lighthearted clowny music when the CSGO team is playing is a great way to change the emotion of the video.
Wall this off right here where they're shooting. Wall it off.
They'll probably rotate B, I think.
No, Julia! Oh, I f***ed that
I'll
up.
tell you what, for sure. They're running. Get the B.
Rotate! Wait, take the teleporter.
Rotate.
We can't all, or they're just gonna pop out and kill us. Yep, yeah, can't do that. Oh, you followed the teleporter.
Oh god, so don't go through the teleporter.
I think they heard you going through the teleporter.
I'm about to pop the oh shit. Okay, so 5v1 guys?
1v5, yeah.
John, you were oh, well, I was gonna give a whole speech. I'll save it.
We're gonna get some rounds.
We're gonna get around.
Good use of cutting out the music there to add comedic effect, having the music drop out to hear what he says is excellent editing.
Take the teleporter.
We can't all, or they're just gonna pop out and kill us. Yep, yeah, can't do that. Oh, you followed the teleporter.
Oh god, so don't go through the teleporter.
I think they heard you.
There's like the sync for the audio and the cams is like a frame off or something, I think. It's just like not quite on.
I'm about to pop the oh shit. Okay, so 5v1 guys?
1v5, yeah.
John, you were oh, well, I was gonna give a whole speech. I'll save it.
We're gonna get some rounds.
We're gonna get around.
A few moments later.
Yep.
Never mind. Shit, they're all right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be B.
No, we're coming.
They're all B.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Tied them a bit. Oh lord. Oh my god. These guys are very good at this game. They can aim very well.
Oh my god, I suck. I choked.
Okay, Julia.
Where's the last guy?
He's inside the container.
It doesn't even matter if we win. You just gotta get that kill.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh no.
Oh shit.
I think they're onto me.
Can they be here?
It looks like one kill left, one kill left.
Oh my god, he's so sharp.
Yeah. And then inside.
Let me see if I can knife him.
Oh, please live. Okay. I'm flanking. Yeah, knife him.
One hookah. One hookah thing.
Does not work? What's the deal? His knife just doesn't work.
One enemy remaining.
I just knifed someone.
Oh my god.
I swear the knife doesn't
Classic
work.
Sean. Even f***ing Valorant. Sean's the same.
We're doing okay here. We're totally fine.
I really liked the short laughing mini montage there. That was fun.
We got this.
Time to get serious.
Hey, who's in
All right, so change of music here. We're no longer on the heavy metal. It sounds like we got some EDM coming.
Oh my god. Gomez, can I go through a teleporter? Oh, where'd that guy just kill somebody?
Last player standing.
Leroy Jenkins!
Get one round, please.
We can get around.
We're gonna.
A little bit of a jolt in the audio there.
Get one round, please.
Probably like trying to cut out some stuff that somebody's saying like right in the middle of it. Needs to cut out the beginning of it, and there's just not room there. So you're left with that kind of sound when it goes to the new audio piece.
We can get around.
We're gonna get around.
Worst comes to worst, you could just bring Jason and tell him to cut the internet.
I'm gonna hard push mid.
Wait, why?
They're all in showers, guys. So.
No, only one shower's the best round on. 2B, 2 going B long. Far way to B. They're about halfway there already.
Oh!
2 going into B now.
Oh my god.
You guys, we gotta rotate to B there.
Oh
What? I didn't even see.
Oh my god.
The thing is that...
You wanna go back to B?
Nah, let's just kill him. Gush Heaven. 2 even, both even.
Both there, come big.
I'm on.
God damn, Jay.
This pistol's broken.
Gomez, what do we do here?
Okay, they're setting up a 3 short.
Gomez, what do we do here?
Okay, they're setting up a...
Music just like randomly came up quite a bit right there. I'm not sure what happened there.
Pistol's broken.
Gomez, what do we do here?
Okay, they're setting up a 3 short. I don't know what they're doing now. They were f***ing around in spawn.
I'm just gonna run to the portal and see if I can make it, okay? You can't use your skill, remember? Yeah, it's fine. If I die, then you go. Good luck.
Yeah.
Ready?
Finishing B.
Yeah,
wow!
There's no way. There's no way that I just went through the portal and the nade landed on me.
Should we eat it? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, B.
They're waiting at teleporter.
One in hookah. There's two in the tele.
All right, so they're starting to do playing both out at the same time and showing you both perspectives back and forth instead of like a whole round from one perspective, a whole round from the other. And I think they're trying to get the pace up because we're like 9 minutes into this video.
Teleporter, dude.
Oh wait, that's you.
Gosh.
Where's that fucking team?
Oh no.
You gotta go into the teleporter.
You go from the other.
That's it, last one. That's it.
Yes! These guys suck ass.
The hilariously triumphant music. Love it.
So this.
This is very like 90s movie triumphant moment. I love it. It's so good. Like I could literally picture that being like a community bit. Like this section feels like really, really quality comedy.
As soon as they see that.
Oh man.
I keep
Oh my god.
And they just abruptly get wrecked.
I keep shooting them in the pants, and they keep shooting me in the face.
Knife him!
He's dead. All the rest are short.
Oh my god.
All right, so really speeding up the pace now. So it was all built up to that climax, which was the staff winning. Climax paid off. So now we're gonna just clip through the rest of the game here.
Oh my god.
Damn it.
So now we're just like montage kills, montage of staff dying, montage music. You know, we're just going.
He's in A and he's really low. And the other guy's
Big brain memes over Jackson Doll here.
behind A spawn.
Unlucky.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh Jackson!
I will not let my friends be disrespected like that.
Let's just go hookah to plant, right?
Okay, yeah, there's no one watching the hookah. If you go hookah, you should be fine.
Let's go hookah to plant. Ready?
I feel like it won't be fine.
Yeah, if you're fast.
Just sprint.
I'm gonna come from behind you guys. Yep.
Okay, one's below hookah.
Dang, John. Let's go.
Below the window. Below the window.
I really hope that was actually live. Like, I hope they didn't just set that up after the fact. I hope that dude was actually walking around and just giving them insight the whole time, which I think he was. So that's hilarious.
So when he's
One's directly below the hookah window.
The bomb down while they're just gonna wait. Oh.
Yeah.
One or two watching, get the bomb down. I'll watch.
One's inside still. One's inside still.
Oh, one's coming from.
Nice wall.
Oh my god.
Alright, last round, boys. Come on, this is the comeback.
Alright guys, this is the comeback. This is the comeback. I'm feeling it.
Let's go. We need big brain strats.
Where do you guys want to go? A or B? 3 A and 2 B. Okay, one B guy's in the hookah already. Like right up against the. Okay, let's go long. Yeah, none long. They're both in the hookah. The room.
If we can draw their attention, we can teleport across.
Yeah, I like that.
There's 2 of them in the hookah room. Oh, one's going back to long. One B. In the corners, check all your corners. Alright.
What?
Let's go, Azir.
Last guy's in hookah, one hookah.
Oh my god.
One hookah. Jumping out.
No!
Oh my.
Oh.
Is that all we have to do now?
I think so.
Should we go play some regular people?
That is the most. That is the most pro player having to do content thing I've ever heard in my life. Is that all we have to do? Can we go now?
Is that all we have to do now?
I think so.
Should we go play some regular people?
Great game.
I feel like we'll do a lot better against regular people, right?
Maybe. I have yes.
What's that one? And then we came into the classic pistol one. Mother. You wait till you're fucking on. That fucking hurt.
Was that a throwback to? Was that the precursor to what happened at the
Hey
beginning?
boys, so 100 Thieves put together a god squad of their best 5 Valorant players.
Is that an explanation for why this happened?
Abilities. We'll see how we do.
Where did they happen? Where did this one happen first? It seemed like the other one happened first. It seemed like that's what they were trying to say. Huh. Fun little callback to the beginning of the video. Good book ending. All right, I think all the rest of this stuff we covered in the last stream. What is this? Honeymoons looks like. Yeah, gameplay stuff. React to their comms. I think we watched this. All right. Well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Again, going to be releasing one video a week and then do a weekly stream wrap up that kind of just covers all the weekly content. So the video that we put out once a week is going to be a deep dive into a single piece of content or a single topic. The stream that you're seeing right now is going to happen every Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and it's just going to be a wrap up of the notable content of the week. So thank you guys. I will see you later.